It's time to live your stronger life. Hey, I'm Sammy, physio coach and nutritionist, and your hype girl for creating your stronger life. Here, we ditch the quick fixes and build real strength inside and out. So whether you're here to tone up, drop the body fat, build muscle, mental resilience, or ditch the diet culture, or just feel bloody good in your skin, you're in the right place. So let's get into it. Alright fam, have you ever wondered why some foods pack a protein punch while others barely make a dent in your day and you feel like you're always going over in your calories but you're struggling to hit your protein intake? Even if they claim to be high protein foods, you're just confused and it's getting really frustrating for you because you're like, it's so hard to hit my protein and stay in my calorie deficit. Well, this episode is for you. We're going to break down the truth about protein efficiency and how to get the most muscle building benefit for your calorie bang and buck. So in this episode, I'm going to break down the bang for your buck rule, how to instantly tell if a food is a good source of protein, why foods such as, egg whites and chicken breast and Greek yogurt and things like that win over having protein, over peanut butter, why we always say peanut butter is not a good source of protein when it comes to protein density, how to understand protein quality and why some proteins help you build muscle better than others, and how to build a full day of eating that hits your protein goals without blowing out in your calories. So if you're trying to build lean muscle, if you're trying to lose body fat, you just want to eat smarter, you're trying to anything above, basically you just want to focus on your protein without blowing out your calories, then this episode is for you because I'm going to simplify protein once and for all. So let's jump straight into it, right? No fluffing about. So first of all, what is protein efficiency? Which is basically how much protein you get for the calories you spend. Think of it as your return on investment. And if you're trying to build muscle or stay lean, you want foods that give you the most protein with the fewest calories so that you can easily stay within your calorie budget and spend those extra calories on carbohydrates and on fat so that you're not just eating pure protein all day long. So another way of explaining it is protein efficiency basically means how much usable protein you get from the calories that you spend. It's kind of like fuel economy. Some foods are like having a sports car, guzzling calories, guzzling petrol, like crazy amounts, while others are sleek hybrid cars that give you more distance per drop. And so we want to be smart with our food choices. Now here's a couple of examples of what I mean. So let's start with some foods that give you some good protein bang for your calorie buck. So if we wanted 30 grams of protein, I'm going to make all of this like super easy to kind of compare it with. We're going to do 30 grams of protein. How much food are you going to need? So in chicken breast, if you wanted to get 30 grams of protein, it's going to cost you about 140 calories. If you wanted about 30 grams of pure egg whites, it's going to also cost you about 130-ish calories. If you wanted 30 grams of protein from like the Chobani Fit or the YoPros or the Paul's yogurt, the high protein yogurts, they're all about 15 grams of protein per tub, so you're going to need 2 tubs. It's all going to be around 190 to 200 calories for 30 grams of protein. So these are all foods that you can get 30 grams of protein for under 200 calories. So that's pretty banger. Anytime that there is more protein than there is calories, i.e. 30 grams of protein, I'm going to teach you this hack in a tick, but 30 grams of protein, if we add a 0 to it, we just say it's 300. That is more than the amount of calories, which is 130 up to 200. So 300 grams is higher than 140 to 200 calories. That means it's a really good source of protein. I'll explain that in a little bit as well. But there are examples, right? So for 30 grams of protein, you could get anywhere from 140 up to nearly 200 calories. That is banger for 3 different options. That was chicken breast, egg whites, and the high protein yogurts that we all know and love. Now, another example is tofu. Tofu is like a protein source, absolutely. But in order to get 30 grams of tofu, you're probably going to get closer to 250 to 280 or more calories. So that is quite a significant amount more calories because there's also dietary fats and carbohydrates within tofu as well. Now, everyone thinks peanut butter is a good source of protein, right? Well, in order to get 30 grams of protein, you're going to be spending over 700 calories. So you could get 30 grams of protein by having 2 tubs of yogurt, and that's going to be 200 calories. Or you can more than 3 times that calorie amount. You're going to have to eat 700 calories worth at least in peanut butter to get 30 grams of protein. So this is what we mean by protein efficiency. Some foods are just way better quality protein, more bang for your buck than it is to waste on foods such as peanut butter. Yes, peanut butter has a bit of protein in it, but it's mostly a fat. It is a fat source. It is not with a bit of protein. It is not a protein source with a bit of fat. So this is what I mean by protein efficiency. And I will break down a few other really great food sources in just a tick. But I want to explain this protein hack that I just talked about. And I really like this rule of thumb. Don't overthink it, because I've posted this on my Instagram before and then I got all these questions about it being like, why is it out of 0? Why is it like this? Why is it like that? And I'm like, literally, don't overthink it. It's just like this random rule that works to compare. It's just a comparison thing, and I can't explain it. It works. It's like working out a ratio. It works. Roll with it. Don't overthink it. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at the nutritional label. You can do it per serve or per 100 grams, but like realistically, I would do it per serve because, for example, you're not going to have 100 grams of peanut butter. Or if you're looking at a protein bar, you're not going to have 100 grams of the protein bar, you're having it per serve. So I do say just look at it per serve, but when you're having protein or when you're having chicken or mince or something like that, it is common to have 100 grams as a serve. Like that's pretty normal. So I just think look at it per what you would typically have as a serve, but you can do it either way, 100 grams or per serve. It works either way with this rule. Now, you're going to add a 0 to the grams of protein in that food and compare that number to its calories. If the calories are equal to or lower than that number, that new protein with the 0 added, then we can consider it a good, efficient source of protein. If the calories are much higher, then I'm sorry, but it's not. So for example, if we do peanut butter, like typically speaking, peanut butter could be anywhere between 5 to 8 grams of protein per serve, but the calories are like per like tablespoon or whatever, and the calories are going to be like 190 plus calories, right? If we add a 0, let's say it's a high protein peanut butter with 8 grams per tablespoon or whatever. Let's say we add a 0, that's 80. 80 is well under 190 calories. That is not a good it's just not it's an inefficient source of protein. Whereas if we go, okay, how about the Chobani Fit yogurts, right? They're 15 grams of protein per tub and they're about 90 calories. So if we go, okay, 15 at a 0, that's 150. That is well higher than about 90 calories. Therefore, we can say that these Chobani Fits are a very good quality, efficient source of protein. Same as chicken, like I just mentioned, the chicken breast. For 30 grams of raw chicken breast, it's about 140-ish calories. So if we add a 0 to the 30 grams of chicken breast, that is 300 is much bigger than 140 calories. Therefore, it is a very, very good source of protein. So you can see the differences there. And when you're looking at protein bars, this is a really good hack to work out if a protein bar is a gimmick or not. If it says it's a high protein bar, and then you have a look at the label, very common ones like the Carmen's bars. They're delicious. They're great snack bars, but they can contribute to a protein intake, but you don't have it as a meal thinking that you're eating high protein. They're a snack bar with a bit of protein added in. That's what they really are. Because when you look at them, they'll have 10 grams of protein, maybe 15, but they're like 200 plus calories. So you think about that. 10 grams of protein in the bar at a 0, that's 100. 100 is very well under 200 calories, and we want the protein to be higher than the calories per serve. Therefore, it ain't a good source of protein, in my opinion. So hopefully that makes sense. I've done a reel on it before. I can totally send it to you guys if you message me about it. But let's compare some other common protein sources. So some other really like high efficiency, good calorie bang for your protein buck, things like egg whites, chicken breast, or any lean meat product like that, like extra lean beef, kangaroo, any of the white fishes, the high protein Greek yogurts, and protein powder. Protein powder is your best friend here. It is one of the best sources, like whey protein isolate especially. Now, some moderate kind of efficiency ones, because they may have a bit of dietary fats in it as well. We're talking eggs, because eggs though are fabulous quality. They're They're one of the highest quality and digestibility and absorbability proteins there are. But if I'm talking just protein compared to calories, then whole eggs go in the moderate category just because they do have a lot of fats in them. So they're a bit more higher calorie bang for your buck, but as a quality, they're absolutely the best things ever. So whole eggs, tofu, tempeh, cottage cheese, more lean cuts of meat, and soy protein products, they're kind of in their moderate efficiency category. And then really low efficiency, high calorie, low protein sources is like your peanut butter, your nuts, your cheeses, lentils, legumes, things like that. They're like all fabulous. They give you protein, but they're just not giving you a lot of protein per how much calories you're going to have. So they're great with like a bonus, but they're not like, I wouldn't call them a good protein source. Now, I kept mentioning just then protein quality, and what the heck does protein quality means? Because it's not just about how much you eat, but it is also about what kind of protein that you have. Protein quality is like how well your body can actually use that protein for its purposes. So it's all about like, it comes down to the amino acid profile. All proteins are just like all these folded up little amino acids, which like that's what creates our DNA, that's what helps repair our muscles, that's what creates cells, things like that. The actual little amino acid chains, I'm not going to go over it in any more depth than that. Don't want to overcomplicate it over a podcast where I can't visually explain it very well, but it is about the quality of protein. And so we have complete proteins and incomplete proteins, and in the amino acid profile, some of those amino acids our body can produce itself, and there's some that our body can't produce, and we need to make sure we're eating that form of them. And one in particular that's most important is leucine. Leucine is the one major amino acid that triggers the muscle protein synthesis the most, so it is one of the most important ones, and it is quite low in plant-based sources, and it is very high in animal-based sources. So vegos and vegans, whilst 100% you can still build muscle and everything, you have to be quite clever about combining your foods to ensure that you are getting all of the amino acids. Complete proteins are like all your animal-based proteins, chicken, eggs, fish, dairy, meat, all that jazz. Soy protein is a complete protein, and quinoa is also a complete protein, but quinoa is very high in carbohydrates and like quite low in protein for your calorie bang for your buck, like I was talking about before. Incomplete protein is most plant-based ones, but you can combine things together to make it complete, such as if you combine lentils, legumes, beans with rice, that then creates a complete amino acid profile, which is why in a lot of plant-based protein powders, you'll see like rice protein and a pea protein mixed together. That's going to make it more of a complete protein source. So pure isolated, like just pea protein or just rice protein or just that, they're not as complete as when you get a range. So I always look for a mixed bag, unless it's soy protein. Soy protein isolate is the best option, and then the combination ones are the second best option when you're looking at a plant-based protein source. But also the key is just variety. Like just have a big variety of protein sources, and you will be all good in the hood. Now, digestibility is another one. So whey, eggs, and animal proteins are absorbed more efficiently. So you get, again, you're absorbing more of the protein that you actually are consuming than some plant-based proteins as well. And so often with vegos and vegans, I just recommend that you bump your protein intake up a little bit more just to kind of cover your butt, and make sure you're combining lots of different protein sources in there. Using soy is a really fundamental one, can be super beneficial as well, because it's not just about what you eat, it's about what you can absorb and digest. That's actually the more important thing than what you eat. Without like totally overcomplicating it, I'll say the most like digestible, the most high quality absorbed, best kind of protein that your body utilizes really, really well in kind of order goes kind of like whey protein isolate is like the best gold standard, bang for your buck, highest bioavailability, best option. So even when people are like, oh, I don't want anything processed, I just want to have whole foods, I'm like, dude, whey protein isolate is like a whole food. It is so freaking good for building muscle. Have it. Just pick one that doesn't have heaps of other artificial crap in the label if you're worried about it. Egg whites are eggs and egg whites are the next top dog, and then that's where we're going to get to our red meats, chicken, fish, like all that kind of stuff are like the next ones down. Then we're going like Greek yogurt, skim dairy, things like that. Soy protein is the best plant-based option that you can get, and then as you go further down, that's where you're getting like your lentils, legumes, nuts, and seeds, and they're all like not very good quality sources of protein. So they can, and wheat and stuff like that. So they can make up and contribute, but you want like your major, like the majority of your protein foods to be coming from those really high quality, well digested, well absorbed proteins, and then minimal, like don't rely solely on your like the wheat and protein and peanut butter, and legumes and things like that, because the quality just isn't there. So you may be eating X amount of protein, but you're certainly not digesting and absorbing X amount of protein. All right, so now let's build a high protein calorie smart day. Let's piece it all together. So let's say your goal is to hit, about 130 grams of protein per day while staying around 1800 calories. Now, I want to say something here, and this is going to be super bloody controversial before I jump into it. And I would never, ever, ever prescribe this to any of my clients. Like, this is not something I recommend. I did a very extreme bodybuilding prep diet. So just full disclosure, this is very extreme. This was for a very short amount of time. This is not something I would ever recommend to any of my clients. This is something that I took on as knowing that this is high risk to your health. It is not for long term, and I have no issues with my food. I will eat. If I'm told to eat 5,000 calories in a day, I'll do it. If I'm told to eat 1,000 calories in a day to achieve my goals, I'll do it. I'm extreme. I'm totally going to get that. But like when you guys say I'm struggling to hit my protein and you're trying to hit like 130 grams of protein with 1,800 calories, I'm like, dude, that is so easy. I have eaten under 1,000 calories and still had 150 grams of protein per day. And it was easy as. It was boring. It sucked. I was not enjoying life at the time, but I've done it. You just eat pure protein foods. It's all about your protein food choices. Like if your calories are low, don't go and buy the chicken schnitzel and the really high calorie burgers and the crumbed fishes. Just go buy the pure chicken breast. Go buy the extra lean beef mince. Don't fluff about with like those high calorie yogurts. Go buy the really lean Greek yogurts with the high protein in it. Use your protein powder. Like, be smart about it. Like, if you're struggling to hit your protein, but your diet looks like chicken schnitzels, like even the ones from Coles and Woolies, but like chicken schnitzel, you're just having 2 eggs on some bread, chicken schnitzel, and then maybe you're having those tuna cans that are like the ones in olive oil. Just things like that. It's like, you don't need to do that. Just pick the leaner options and keep it really simple. You can enjoy those other foods later when you're not in a calorie deficit. So let's build this full day out. I'm totally digressing here. So let's say breakfast, you're going to have, maybe you want your bowl of oats and you're going to have a scoop and a bit of whey protein. Probably, it depends on the whey protein. It might be 40 grams of whey protein poured out, probably will hit the target. You have a bowl of oats with whey protein isolate. Easy. 35 grams of protein. Done. Lunch, just have any herbs, spices, seasoning you want. Go ham on the meat, on the mingle seasonings or the master foods, like sauce recipe bases that I always post about. They're like under 30 calories per serve. Go ham on all those. Enjoy all of that to give yourself flavor and variety, but just go have plain chicken breast and then add all of that in. 120 grams of chicken breast raw up to maybe 150 grams. That will get you anywhere between 30 and 40 grams of protein in a meal. Done. Snack, you're going to have a high protein yogurt. If you get the YoPro Perform, they're the best because they have even more calcium in it than other Greek yogurts, and they have 20 grams of protein per serve. So now we're already at, 30, 35 at breakfast. Let's just say 30 for easy math. And then we're at 35 for lunch. That's 65. Let's say we did do 35 at breakfast. Now we're at 70 grams, 80, 90 with adding in that Greek yogurt. And then maybe you do have a bit of peanut butter on your oats. That's another 5 grams. So, where are we up to now? 60, 70, 80, 85. Maybe you like to have a skim latte or whatever. That's probably going to give you like anywhere between another 5 and 10 grams of protein. So we're maybe pushing it up to 90 to 95, maybe even 100 grams of protein now. And then let's finish the night off with 150 grams of fish, extra lean beef mince, more like another chicken, like whatever you want, some sort of protein. Actually, you don't even need to have 150 grams. You could do like 125 grams and then a serve of high protein pasta or something. That's going to easy get you 40 grams of protein. Now we're at 140 grams of protein. Look how easy that was. And the calories are not going to be anywhere near 1800 just by choosing those couple of options that I mentioned with the protein. So if you just map it out like that, that's how you're going to pre-plan your day. Right, I'm going to have whey protein, I'm going to have chicken breast, I'm going to have this yogurt, and then I'm going to have like the meat, and I might have a high protein pasta with it. You map that out first in your MyFitnessPal, and then see what calories you have left over. Fill it out with your carbohydrate foods, fill it out with your fruit and veggies, fill it out with any dietary fats you need to add in, and make sure you sneak in the snacks and add in the desserts and the things that you want to have. But if you pre-plan your protein foods first, then you can see what you have room left over. And the reason why you're not hitting your protein and going over in your calories is because you're not pre-planning your day out. Unless you have the skill set to track as you go throughout the day, you don't do it, because it's just going to be a pain in the ass. It takes forever, and you're always going to be going over or under or not hitting your targets. Just pre-plan it out like you're writing out a little meal plan for yourself. And then the second step is stop trying to do something different every single day. Just keep it simple, keep it repeatable. It makes life so much easier. Then as you develop those skills with your tracking, then you can start to learn how to be more flexible and how to incorporate more swaps, because you understand food on a deeper level. But if you're new to tracking, you're new to trying to hit a certain target, eat the same bloody thing every single day, and then slowly incorporate different food swaps so you can start to learn what calories and macros and protein look like in various foods as you go along, and how you can fit that within your day. So some key takeaways. Protein efficiency is what you want to be focusing on, especially when you're in a calorie deficit, meaning that you're getting more protein for the lesser calorie bang for your buck. You can use that add a zero trick to judge food and snacks and things if they're actually high in protein, and you want to really focus on high quality protein sources for the best muscle repair, satiety, digestibility, and absorbability. And you really want to mix your plant and animal based sources for variety and for balance. And just remember, peanut butter is delicious, but it does not really count as a main protein source. If you found this beneficial and you would like a sample meal plan where I show you how to hit a banger amount of protein without going crazy on your calories while still eating delicious food, I'm sure there'll be Biscoff, there'll be chocolate, there'll be delicious things in there, then pop onto my Instagram and message me saying, just listen to the podcast. I would love a sample meal plan. This is my goal. Come tell me all of that, and I'll send you a sample meal plan to help get you started. I hope this is helpful, and I hope this has simplified and explained protein a little bit more for you. So if it has, make sure you share it with a friend. Come jump on Instagram, let me know, and I shall catch y'all in the next one. Thanks so much for listening. If you found this episode valuable, please rate, review, and subscribe. And I'd love if you shared this on your Instagram and tag me Sammy_Livestrong. And if you'd like to learn more about my coaching and join the Project Livestrong family, please message me Livestrong on Instagram, and I'll see how I can help. I'll see you next time.